Today, I want to show you how to find your ideal customer in 3 steps. You've heard the phrase 1,000 times, but here's something most business owners will never admit out loud. They have absolutely no idea who they're actually selling to. And I don't mean that as an insult. I mean it as a confession. 2 years into running my own business, I was exhausted. I was putting in more effort than I had previously. I was consistently creating content, dispatching emails, and responding to calls. Despite my efforts, each month felt like a fresh start. Sales were inconsistent. The customers I was landing were wrong, too demanding, too price-sensitive, and never the ones I actually wanted to work with. I thought the problem was my marketing, my pricing, my website. It wasn't any of those things. The problem was I had no idea who I was really for. I was so focused on what I sold that I'd completely ignored who needed it most and why they desperately needed it right now. Once I shifted that focus, everything changed. And I mean everything. Customer quality, conversion rates, revenue, even my energy for the work. In this video, you're going to discover 3 things that, once you understand them, will completely transform the way you think about your business. You'll walk away with a clear, usable picture of your ideal customer, not a vague description. You will have an actual profile to market to. I'm Malcolm, and for years I've been assisting SME owners and entrepreneurs in navigating the complexities of building businesses that consistently attract the right people. So let's get right into it, because if you're a business owner and you've ever said the words, "we serve everyone," or "our product works for any business," this is for you. Here's the painful truth. Trying to speak to everyone means you're connecting with no one. Your message lands flat, your ads get scrolled past, your emails get deleted, and you're left wondering why nothing seems to be working, even though you're genuinely good at what you do. This isn't your fault. Nobody teaches this in school. Most business advice focuses on what you offer, not who it's for, so you build a product or service, and then you try to find anyone willing to buy it. That's backwards. And if nothing changes, you keep grinding. Keep spending on marketing that doesn't convert. Keep attracting the wrong customers who drain your energy and never refer anyone. The business you're building never reaches the people who genuinely need what you have. That's the cost of skipping this step. But here's what's exciting. Once you get this right, everything downstream gets easier. Your messaging sharpens, your offers become more compelling, and your customers start finding you. Let's talk about how to make that happen. Point 1. Stop describing what you sell and start describing who you rescue. Most business owners describe their business in terms of what they offer. I'm a web designer. I sell accounting software. I run a digital marketing agency. The problem with that? It's forgettable, and it attracts everyone and no one at the same time. Think about it like a lifeboat. A lifeboat isn't marketed to people who enjoy boats. It's for people who are drowning. Your ideal customer is someone who has a specific painful problem, one that your product or service solves better than anyone else. Discovering your ideal customer starts by asking a different question, not who might want this solution, but who is hurting right now because they don't have your product or service. Here's how to actually do this. Write down the top 3 frustrations your best ever customers had before they found you. Not surface level stuff. Go deep. What was keeping them up at night? What had they already tried that didn't work? What were the real stakes for them if nothing changed? Here's why this matters. When your messaging speaks to a specific frustration, the right person reads it and thinks, "That's me." They get it. That emotional recognition is worth more than any clever tagline. And when you know the problem deeply, you stop feeling like you're selling and start feeling like you're helping. Next, we need to talk about something even more specific, because knowing the pain isn't enough. You need to know who is actually feeling it. Build a real human profile and not a standard marketing avatar. You've probably heard the advice to create a customer persona. Maybe you even did it once. Name, age, job title, lives in a nice suburb, drinks oat lattes, and then it sat in a Google Doc and never got used again. That's because most customer profiles are built on demographic guesswork rather than real human psychology. Your ideal customer isn't defined by their age or postcode. They're defined by their worldview. What do they believe? What do they fear? What have they already tried? What does success look like for them, not professionally, but emotionally? Here's a practical way to build this profile. Go back to your last 5 customers who were genuinely great to work with, happy, easy, and who got results. Look for patterns, not in their industry or job title, but in how they talked about their problem. What words did they use? What made them finally decide to buy? What were they most nervous about before they did? Those patterns are your profile. If you haven't had customers yet, that's okay. Engage in conversation with 5 individuals who align with your instinctive desire to serve. Ask them about their frustrations. Listen more than you talk. The language they use is gold. Here's why this approach matters. When your marketing uses the exact words your ideal customer uses to describe their own problem, they feel like you've read their mind. That builds trust instantly, and trust is what sells. Once you have that profile, there's one more piece that ties everything together, and most business owners never think about it. Point 3. Find the trigger moment and the thing that makes them ready to buy now. Knowing who your customer is isn't enough. You need to know when they become your customer, because your ideal customer might have had that problem for years, but something happened recently, a specific moment that made them go from, "I should probably deal with this," to "I need to deal with this today." That moment is called the trigger event. Maybe a competitor overtook them. Maybe they just had a conversation with someone that made them feel behind. Maybe they missed a revenue target for the 3rd month running. Maybe they finally got so frustrated they typed something into Google and found you. Your job is to find the trigger and ensure your content and messaging appear at that moment. Here's the practical step. Ask your best customers, what made you decide to do something about this when you did? The answer almost always reveals a trigger. Then create content, a video like this one, an article, or a post that speaks directly to that trigger moment. Here's why this matters. Timing is everything in sales. The right message at the wrong time gets ignored. The right message at the right time converts. Understanding the trigger puts you in front of people at the exact moment they're ready. I want to tell you about a woman named Sarah. She ran a small HR consultancy in the Midlands. 3 years in, she was doing okay, but only just. She was receiving inquiries, but they were scattered and inconsistent. Small businesses, large businesses, startups, and charities. No consistency. She told me, "I'm trying to help everyone, and I feel like I'm helping no one properly." We sat down and worked through these 3 steps together. First, we found the specific pain she solved best, helping fast-growing small businesses hire their first 3 employees without making costly legal mistakes. Very specific, very real. Then, we built a real profile based on her best-ever clients. They were all founders aged 30 to 45 who'd just crossed the 300,000 revenue mark and were hiring for the first time, scared of getting it wrong, overwhelmed by the legal side, proud of what they'd built, and desperate not to break it. Then, we found the trigger. For most, it was the moment they got their first contract wrong and almost lost their first hire. Within 90 days of reshaping her messaging around that person, that pain, and that trigger moment, Sarah's conversion rate doubled. Her revenue grew by 40%, and she told me she finally felt like she knew exactly who she was talking to. That's what's waiting for you when you do this right. Let's quickly recap what you've just learned. Number 1, stop describing what you sell and start describing who you rescue. Get specific about the pain. Number 2, build a real human profile based on your best ever customer's psychology, not their job title. Number 3, find the trigger moment that makes your ideal customer ready to buy right now. These 3 steps are the foundation, but knowing the steps and actually implementing them are 2 very different things. That's why I want you to click the link below this video. It'll take you to our 9-day Ideal Customer Magnet Blueprint and Workbook, a step-by-step guide that walks you through the process. It won't be there forever, so if you're watching this video and you're ready to stop guessing and start attracting the right people, now is the time. And if this video gave you something useful, please hit the like button. It genuinely helps other business owners find this content. Subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment below on who is your ideal customer. Let's help each other get clear. You've already done something most business owners never do. You're investing in getting this right. Now go watch the next video and keep that momentum going.